joint ventures are likely to have limited effect.
And we go now to Jonathan Sacerdoti, I-24 News correspondent in Brussels. Jonathan, the streets are filled with army as this investigation continues, but it's also filled with people as they come out to show we will overcome this.
The army and the police are out in force, but as you say, here in the square we have people standing in defiance of what the terrorists have done to their city. The progress today was backwards and forwards, with Erdogan, the president of Turkey, saying that in fact Turkey had caught, arrested and sent to the Netherlands one of the suspects from these attacks. This shows an enormous failing in intelligence for him to be able to then come into Brussels and carry out the attacks on the airport and on the metro system, and other failings as well when we heard that the Ibrahim and Khaled El Bakrawi, the two brothers who are also suspects, were known to the police for carjacking and shooting at the police previously, and yet were able to operate under the radar and carry out these attacks. So questions are being asked by the crowds out tonight who are showing their solidarity with their fellow Europeans, but they're wondering how on earth these networks were able to operate for so long and carry out such fatal attacks on their city.
And Jonathan, have you had a chance to talk with anybody there in the streets about how they feel with their government right now? Is there a sense of disappointment? Is there distrust? Are they backing their president and prime minister at the moment?
As is often the case with these sorts of terror events, the initial response is one of sadness and defiance against the terrorists. If anything, I think people are generally behind their governments and their country in order to show their defiance against that kind of terror. But over the coming weeks, people are bound to start asking more and more questions about how those failings were able to allow these people to carry out attacks, to create bombs, and to place them effectively in these high-populated areas like the airport and the metro station, bringing this city and in a way Europe to a grinding halt. Security is still high and there is still tension in the air as Brussels looks forward to trying to sort out exactly what's going on, catching the remaining terrorists and hopefully foiling the networks for good.
Jonathan, thank you very much for your updates from Brussels. And